Comes out your son. You burn the swine when no want you shine. The tree of life, them no want you climb, cause them heart no kind. Comes, I say them heart no kind. Buxton Massive, Kidaki, Red Hat.
Never joke, never joke, never joke. Oh, money, never money, never money, money, never money, money. Now know what you can even money, money, never money, never money, money, never money, money. You can keep, you can even money. When you been up for a bum, in a bill tell me money. Now because your money done, you come with conniving money. When you had your pocket full, in a bill tell me money. Now because your money done, you hustle for tell me money. Yes, money, never money, never money, money, never money, money. Now know what you conniving money. Neighbor, neighbor, joker, neighbor, neighbor, joker, neighbor, neighbor, money. I know what you can even money. Oh, Joseph, for me.
Well, I invoke the WPA's position that we are engaging in civil disobedience and non-cooperation with the government, and on that grounds I refuse to participate in the interview. The question in struggle, is not personal. Whatever sacrifice as a political activist or a political leader you have to make for your people, you have to make it.
Guyana and Guyanese, at home and abroad. Tune in to Guyanese Morning Time, hosted by Kadaki Amsterdam, where the sun always shines. Guyanese Morning Time, the people calling Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, Guyanese Morning Time. The people calling Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again. We rise up early morning watching Kams Tv, where wisdom and knowledge, yes, it is the key. Exposing corruptions over land and sea, where the wicked politicians they try to trick me. Guyana is a land for everybody. With 6 races should live in harmony. Is one set of people getting aisle money. Is one set of people doing the thievery. Beep, beep, Guyanese Morning Time. The people calling Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, Guyanese Morning Time. The people calling Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again. This is a program that you all can see, sharing your views and your integrity. Like it, comment and share it all around. Pass it to your neighbor, safe and sound. A sad situation going on in this town. The voice of the people is getting trampled down. Out of the mouths of babes and sucklings, which has ordained me to sing. I sing Guyanese Morning Time. The people calling Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, Guyanese Morning Time. The people calling Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, fooling the people. You're promoting evil. Stop lying to the people. You are a part of the cycle. Stop fooling people. You're promoting evil. stop lying to the people. You are a part of the cycle. I say, Guyanese morning time. The people calling Guyanese morning time. Rhythm, Guyanese morning time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, Guyanese morning time. The people calling Guyanese morning time. Rhythm, Guyanese morning time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again. They got Rickford, Bork and Mark Benchcop. David Hines and Kadaki Amsterdam. Sherrod Duncan, Nigel London. Normal Brown and Gavin Matthews. Big up Paslow Port People Governor. Simona Brooms, Robin Simpson. Hampton Green and Winston Jordan. And yes, we can go right on and on. Guyanese morning time. The people calling Guyanese morning time. Rhythm, Guyanese morning time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, Guyanese morning time. The people calling Guyanese morning time. Rhythm, Guyanese morning time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again.
The relatives and friends of young Wyndham Bacchus, they deserve justice. The family, the relatives and friends of our in Boston, they deserve justice. The family, the relatives and friends of Peter Headley, they deserve justice.
And so when we say that Guyana is an apartheid state, we have the evidence to show.
Are you planning your next visit to Oil-Rich Guyana, South America? Well, let's accommodate you at Varon's Cheerful Country Manor. With free secured on-premises parking, our beautiful vacation air-conditioned home offers 3 beds, 2 bathrooms, a spacious kitchen, and all modern amenities. Located at Tushen, on the eastern bank of the mighty Essequibo and the western coast of Demerara, Varon's Cheerful Country Manor is just a stone throw from the ocean. Make that reservation now on Airbnb and VRBO. For contact, call us on 516-770-3053 or
Songs of Singerman One Man Band and the Popular Stereo Songs, Friday 17th November at...
Are you planning your next visit to Oil-Rich Guyana, South America? Well, let's accommodate you at Varon's Cheerful Country Manor. With free secured on-premises parking, our beautiful vacation air-conditioned home offers 3 beds, 2 bathrooms, a spacious kitchen, and all modern amenities. Located at Tushen, on the eastern bank of the mighty Essequibo and the western coast of Demerara, Varon's Cheerful Country Manor is just a stone throw from the ocean. Make that reservation now on Airbnb and VRBO. For contact, call us on 516-770-3053 or 592-685-3521. Make Varon's Cheerful Country Manor your home away from home.
You put in a 12-cent meatball, you was gonna lice. I gonna give you a word of advice. Check your meat out my eyes.
You can get meat anywhere, but for the best cuts of chicken, beef, pork, mutton, and lots more, check out T&W Harris Butcher Shop, located in the East Rheinveld Market Meat section. Call us on 609-2049. Ask for Rastaman. T&W Harris Butcher Shop brings you the best in fresh cut meats and lots more.
LA's fine sunshine most of the time. And the feeling is laid back. Palm tree grove, rent so low, don't you know? But I keep working my way back. But I'm a Jamaican boy who's born and raised. Nowadays I'm lost between two shores. LA's fine, but it ain't home. New York is home, but it ain't mine no more. Mm-hmm.
From hay and carry paper.
Why would I want to move it from where it was?
Carlo, well, like I said, in my mind there was no consideration given for them, and that consideration, even if it's morning, neighbor, morning, morning, are you morning? Welcome to another program of Guyanese Morning Time. It is now 7 hours 30. It's Friday, the 17th of November in the year 2023. It's Free Talk Friday. You have a call on the line. Caller, go ahead.
It's again, good morning.
Good morning, caller.
Yes, I don't know if it's the same program. I was listening to a program just now, Talking Business. Is this the program?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Something happened a week ago, whereby I had something to tell a man. He agreed concerning the sale, the price at which was offered, and he asked me to bring the article down to him from where I live. Taking the article down, he decided now that he don't want it anymore. Would he have to pay a cost for me to transporting that stuff to his place, he has to pay a cost.
In my mind, no.
Why?
Because you made an offer. There was, in fact, that what? Yeah, have you ever heard of invitation to treat?
What did happen? He agreed to the price and he told me to bring it.
Yes, he agreed to the price and he told you to bring it.
Yeah.
Right. But what he didn't do is give you any consideration. If you listen to the program, I said there are some important elements of a contract, right? And consideration is one of them. And that consideration, even if your thing is $100 million, even if you accept a cent on that arrangement, that's consideration. Was there consideration in the contract? Did he give you anything or he just gave word of mouth?
Just word of mouth.
Right, so there was no contract in my mind. The legal heads can tell me differently, but my little understanding is that there was no binding contract. When you actually turned up in front of him with the stuff, right? And he saw it. If he agreed to take it, pardon?
No, the thing is, the thing is, he came, he saw it, he wanted it. He said, bring it. He came, he saw it, he inspected it, then he said, bring it. And I took it to him.
Yes.
And then after that, he didn't worry anymore. Is that the contract, verbal contract, that has been supposed to be binding between me and this guy?
Well, like I said, in my mind, there was no consideration given.
Well, sometimes consideration don't be given, but it's a binding when you said, okay, it's agreed upon to bring it from point A to point B. That is a contract.
All right, let me ask you this. How do you prove in court that he said bring it?
Well, you see, the thing is, once I remove it from point A to point B, and it could be proven that it was removed from point A to point B. That is a contract. No,
in my mind, in my mind, let me put on the camera so people see my face. In my mind, okay, you moving it from point A to point B doesn't necessarily but you're missing the point, sir. You are missing the point, and it is something we have to learn. In my mind, in business. In this instance, if this person said to bring it, at least let them pay the transportation cost for it to get there. Right? Because bring it, like I just said, there's a word of mouth arrangement. And so if you were to go to court and say, me and this man had this arrangement, how do you prove that he said bring it?
Because where it was and where it is.
But you could have chosen to move it on your own volition. You decide you want to move it from here and carry it wherever.
Why would I want to move it from where it was?
Carlo, you're missing the point. You are missing the point. I understand that in your mind.
I understand what you're saying too, Mr. Kadar. I understand what you're saying. But I'm just showing you where certain contracts between two people, where it could be in a form whereby. Let me tell you something. You see, in this life of business, right?
Yeah.
They got verbal arrangement.
Yes, they are verbal contracts.
Yes.
But the question is this. The question is this. Don't you believe that verbal contracts require the same what I call them? The same elements? Huh?
You need proof.
Verbal contracts require the same elements. Because, hear me, they require the same elements, and we ought to be more vigilant for those elements because they're harder to prove that they exist. A verbal contract, for example, would be easily proven, perhaps, if you had somebody who was present, a third party.
Good, you take the part. I was saying, witness. Now, here it is. Here it is. That individual, right? Once there's a witness whereby that verbal contract was made, you understand, action could be taken. You see, let's see what happened now. Some people feel to themselves, they're so smart. Now, when I say to you, word is so smart is because here it is, they will say to you, oh, do this, or do that. That's why you see I normally do record it when I do certain verbal contracts. I do record it because, number one, you may not have a witness at the that time to verify that this arrangement was made, but you do record it. You see, people don't know. There are different ways in which to tie an arrangement. You understand? And when it is verbal, you do a recording because you may not have a witness, and that could stand up in court because it will be there to verify.
Do you do your recording with or without the person's consent?
Huh?
Do you do your recording with or without the person's consent?
With or without?
Yeah.
Whether you do it with or without, it's for your thing. That's with or without. Because if I go to say in court, look, this man made a contract, what do you have to prove it? And I present that. Do I have to get his consent? No,
yes.
I don't have to get
Listen, no. In some states, and I want to believe it's quite possible in Guyana too with the Cybercrime Act. Okay? You have to get people's consent to record them. Don't quote me on that for Guyana, but I believe it exists in Guyana that you have to get people's consent to record them. Okay? But definitely in the United States and Europe and so on, I'm sure that in some parts of the world, you definitely got to get people's consent to record it.
But you see, I can tell you why it is here in Guyana, because people dealing a lot of skullduggery in Guyana, so they want to have the shortcut in any way, in anything. They're looking for the shortcut because they know they will not be chastised. That's why they look for those shortcuts when they're doing things. But you see, out of here, out of Guyana, it's a different scenario. And this is where you see a lot of people running away with in Guyana, forcing them to do the things they're doing in Guyana. You understand? Even in the government sector, these things, and they continue to do it. And I heard you were saying that persons should be more learned concerning these things when they're getting into it. And this is happening out of ignorance. But I'm saying these people knew it for a fact what they are doing. They know. You understand? For the smaller man who may not know what is happening, they take the advantage. You understand? They take the advantage. There's so many ways you can do contract and it's binding and standing in the court of law. But in Guyana, I'm telling you, my God.
I will tell you this. Regardless of the ways in which you do your contract, the elements must be present.
All right.
And if the elements are not present, then you can't claim a binding contract.
Oh, boy. You see, so you could find the elements all wrong. You could do things to create it.
Okay, Carla, thank you. There's another person coming in.
Yes, my brother. You have a great morning.
You too. The lines remain open. 6225933 is the number to call. Call in your live.
Yes. Now, we're speaking about contract. There must be an offer and proof of acceptance for something to be contractual. And if it can be proven that, yes, good morning, good afternoon, concerning
Caller.
an acceptance. And I think in that case, it's easy to prove there was acceptance.
How do you prove it?
The only thing that the guy could have done, the case that the man said when he and the other fella had the arrangement for him to take something to him, and when he got there, he said he didn't want it any longer. But in making that arrangement, he could have said to him, well, it will cost you so much. Are you willing to pay for it? And if he had said yes, and they agreed upon a price, and when he took it, he said he didn't want it any longer, it meant that he broke the contract.
Call, I disagree with you again. I disagree with you, right?
Go ahead.
Because I am saying that the elements of a contract, there must be offer and acceptance. You have offer and acceptance, but there are other elements, right? The other elements are capacity and consideration. Those are two others. Wait, let me finish. Consideration is extremely important for a contract to be binding. Because you can show me something, you can offer me something, I can say I will take it. Right? But I did not give you anything that can be classified as consideration to bind this deal. You know, somebody, usually if you go to a store, that is why when you go to stores and they say, you might see a table, for example, say, I want this table, and the store owner tell you, pay down something on it. Right? Because once you pay down something on it, you've entered into a contractual arrangement with the store owner and yourself. Yes. But once you don't give consideration, you're in business.
Yeah, but that is what I'm saying. If he and the guy had arranged a price and agreed upon a price,
an agreement on a price.
He didn't have to actually pay anything.
No, Carl, I think you got it wrong. No, you got it. They're terribly wrong. You have to pay something. What do you think? Okay, let me take you down this road. When you sign a contract with any person or institution, they ask you for at least a $1 revenue stamp.
Right.
And who usually has to provide a stamp?
Well, is the seller.
Is the seller?
The person who is making the offer.
No, as far as I know, well, I can't remember clearly.
But that stamp is to show what you might determine consideration.
Exactly, that's my point.
It's showing that it is legal because you're paying a stamp as revenue.
Good. So
that stamp is recognizing that the legality of it.
So let's transfer that same reasoning to this situation. I came to you. I saw something that you got. You tell me a price. I say I'm going to take it, man. You could bring it by me. Right? I ain't give you nothing except word.
Yes.
And so when you turn up, by the time you turn up, I decide, listen, me want the thing no more. What leg are you standing on to say I breach the contract?
Well, that's what I'm saying. If they had agreed for the price.
Caller, I am saying to you again, an agreement on price alone is not enough to constitute a contract.
Now, remember, acceptance has motivation.
Caller,
right?
Guide to the code.
Remember, acceptance has motivation. I mean, it is highly skillful, and it becomes. That's why you got the court that got to settle these matters.
Yes, I don't know if Selwyn Peters still tunes in, but I wish Selwyn Peters has tuned in, and I want him if he can share some wisdom on this matter with us. Thank you for your contribution.
Because, yes, I think we should get a legal mind. Acceptance, as you could say, can be a verbal thing of expression. The consideration comes when the man says, well, look, I believe that I had an acceptance until we have agreed upon a price and you would have given a price with different.
But your belief is your belief. It doesn't have to be mine.
It's not just my belief.
Caller.
It's his expression.
Caller, have a day. Caller, have a day.
All right.
Have a good day. Thank you. You and I can't hold up the line all morning. You've made your point, I've made mine. Right? The lines are open. 6225933. You know, I thoroughly enjoy these conversations, mind you. I want a legal mind, if anybody is listening, to tell me about this story here. Call it live.
Yeah, good morning, Brother Kadaki. Thank you very much for allowing me, and good morning to the rest of Guyana. Let me say that I enjoy, usually enjoy your program. But I was at the Critchlow Labour College last evening. Kams TV was not represented, neither was, Politics 101. I did not see In the Ring last night, and I thought it was a travesty, so to speak. I did not see Ronald there. She said she would have been there, and it was a good standing. It was very nice. We interacted with the elected representatives that visited from the United States. That's basically it. And the other thing you're talking about, contracts, do you know that you're supposed to have a procurement legislation as procurement body in the National Assembly? It's constituted. It used to be, I think, a 25-member team commission. Now the PPP broke it down to so what happens is that most of the contract award don't go through the tender board or the procurement legislation process. They would get the family and friends, and if you got to build a bridge, they call a friend and tell them, look, you bid so and so, and send it to me. And it's a travesty for them because the procurement commission and the tender board is supposed to work, but it don't work. They found their family and their friends and family of the PPP by bypassing the system. So it's really sickening, man. And that's my contribution for this morning. Thank you very much for allowing me.
Yes. All right. Good. It was good that the town hall happened at Critchlow Labour College last night. I'm happy that it happened, and I'm happy that persons turned out. Yes, Kams. News agency is not a full-time broadcast entity, and even the full-time broadcast entity and so on, they require people to give them adequate time for stuff. Right? They require people to give them adequate time for stuff, and so some of us can't just drop what we're doing when we're in the middle of something. As in this instance, I'm in the middle of preparing for the Oldies tonight. You can't just drop a bomb on people to say, well, we got this thing and expect them to turn up. Right? I don't have staff. I can't afford staff, so I can't send staff to cover what was happening at Critchlow. But I'm happy that it happened. I'm happy that it was broadcast. And so those who couldn't be there had the opportunity to see what transpired. Sometimes I hold my peace. I don't like to talk about certain things because they can be displeasing. Right? And people feel that you are attacking them, you're getting personal and so on. So sometimes I don't comment too much on certain things. I am not even sure right now what the final arrangements are for the town hall in BUXTON. Last I heard, it should be 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon at the Prairie Hall. This is Friday. Confirmation. So you might very well turn up at the Prairie Hall tomorrow, perhaps, and don't see Kams TV. Yes, I know. People look forward to seeing me, Diane. And I try my best to meet people's expectations, but I'm only human. I'm only human. People have a regular life. And so you can't wake up this morning and feel, hey, I'm going to drop a bomb on them and tell them, come out 10 o'clock for meeting. By then, people are already planning to live 3 days ahead. So certain things we really have to work on. As organizers, we have to work on as people, public officials, private individuals, family members. We have to understand the importance of other people's time. It can't be only us. Quality life.
Yeah, good morning. I saw the thing via Mark. He was broadcasting. And as you rightly said, this thing that these people are doing, I think it should have been organized in a better way, giving people time to fit it with all as a short notice. People would have been able to fit it in their agenda, and it would have moved smoothly. I was trying to find out when was that thing at the place last night. When I did get down to see it was when I returned from a funeral at about 6 p.m. I could not have gone. And I feel that they should have done a better thing to get people out of these points where they would have been meeting people. Well, one of the presenters there saw Lord Dennis and saw his presentation was with this woman who was talking about the girl who was being raped. The people got to remember everybody, many persons went out in full array to give them strength with this problem. And when we were finished doing all that we did, only to hear from the alleged individual, nothing of the sort ever occurred to the individual. So that left a lot of people with their back against the wall. Because if the perpetrator, the alleged perpetrator now of the crime, they say, you know what? Let I take me financial might and action all those people who came out to accuse me. And there is it. My so-called accuser has denied me doing or anything. Where would we have been? So when she was crying out from one end and the person cried out and said nothing had happened, that individual made the entire gathering and all who are there look like fools. Now they say a dog with a socket will always suck it. And once the perpetrator is accustomed to that, they will do that. But do you think the perpetrator doing an act like that, if wise thinking people will go out in their numbers to give support in a situation like that, at least I wouldn't do it. Because you know why? I don't want, when I don't do what I do, at the ending of the day, I look like a fool when the person will pull back all the problems and got people standing on the edge of a precipice only to be thrown over by what they have said. So that thing is a ticklish thing. Moving along. I don't know. I sent you a picture early in the week, okay, about my relative that was being murdered in the bush. The place is at Blackwater, and they say the police that is connect the catchment area, the police catchment area is Madia. And to date, Kadaki, that story has not hit the news. I have not heard it on the news. And when you hear about
But I'm there. The lines remain open. 6225933 is the number to call. I don't know why your number was cut off unceremoniously. Yes, I see Leighton Charles is saying, listen, all right, let me take this one. Call it live.
Yes, good morning to you and all my black brothers and sisters in Guyana. This is Uncle Flash. I love this song. I got so much thing to say right now. I got so much
Flash, get to the point. Get to the point. You can't sing, mano.
Howard Banner.
You want to change the weather?
I love it. Yes. Let I say these words first. Let me go direct to the brother who came on after coffee and called upon Mr. Arby Norton to do something with the Venezuela problem, and he was stepped down and all this nonsense. Help people who confused. That problem is not Mr. Arby Norton alone. The problem belongs to two offices. The government, because it's a serious matter, and it belongs to the immigration. Nobody focus on immigration, but Flat Guardian will focus on immigration this morning. The Guyanese people have to go and protest now at the immigration office and call upon them to arrest and deport these people. Guyanese, you guys remember what Suriname did to Guyanese, Barbados, and Trinidad? It is citizen them was calling the immigration and a response to that because they have obligated to the citizen them, especially when Barbados and Trinidad workers and don't want to pay us. They call the immigration us and deport us. It's not Arby Norton. Job that Arby Norton have to sit down now and prepare for the big battle. Let me give him a chance. Let us trust him and then verify. Don't verify and then trust him, my black brother sister. It's time to move off on the page. It is time for you all to encourage our grandchildren and grandchildren to get up them ID card and prepare for the next election. Now, if the immigration said that the government started to do that, then I have to send out a strong message to the government and to the people that who are in charge of the election coming and say, hey, we're watching you and we know where you live. And that's it. It's time for we start calling. John F. Kennedy said one thing in history. He said, ask not what your country could do, but what you can do for your country. And Uncle Francis around a piece of what you could do for yourself. And otherwise, whatever the government gave you, they could take it back overnight. Let me stop, ask and depend on Arby Norton to fix this and his staff and all the nonsense. It is time for we move from the office and go to immigration office because the people them playing with our democracy, our future for our children and grandchildren.
Blessed good day to you, Mr. Kadaki, and a very blessed good day to the Guyanese nation and all right-minded Guyanese. May God bless your program, Mr. Kadaki, that it continue to prosper as we continue to get a way that we could exhale, eradicate some stress from our mind, our heart, and our body, and hope that somewhere along the line, transformation will take place to the mind and the heart of those who claim to be leaders. Guyanese, may I remind you once again, may I take this opportunity to remind us all that the nation is strong because of the God that it serves, or to the kingdom it belongs to. I said before and I'm saying again, what is happening in this country is a manifestation from the spiritual realm that is manifesting itself in the physical realm. So what we are seeing going on in our nation is because of the direction our nation is heading. Our so-called leaders who should be an example of righteousness, mostly choosing to be an example of wickedness instead of righteousness. And so this is what we are experiencing in our nation. So I'm speaking directly to the righteous-minded Guyanese and the righteous-minded and ardent Guyanese, regardless of what race we are or what. We have got to be careful where we are giving our worship, our honor, and our praise to which kingdom, light or darkness. However, let us move on from there. I want to extend my deepest sympathy and my gratitude to the Guyana Police Force for the policewoman who died last night on the coast here on the roadblock, and the other one who's in hospital, my sister. I wish you a speedy recovery. And may I say again, as I said before, to the Commissioner of Police, you have a billboard that is set up there that you were saying to the nation that, to respect the road and respect the road. I said before, and I'm going to say it again. They said it's based on respect the road. It's a respect life, respect limbs, respect freedom, respect souls, respect family, respect the nation, value and cherish our people, especially those who are there to help to put peace and maintain peace and order in our life. How can the police, even when you put up a roadblock, officers, you gotta be careful. You are standing even in the center of a road for some craziness that put took place there. Don't be a call and again. Thank God by the grace of God that, we are in the land and we are getting there by the grace of God. However, my God, to the bishop who's the head of the police service commission, what are you doing, my brother? You are there supposed to be representing the righteousness of God without fear or favor, not representing party or leaders or politicians. So please, I'm calling to you and I'm asking you, stand up and do what God expects you to do. Stand up for righteousness, embrace righteousness. Guyanese, we're going to get there by the grace of God. But it's very, very shameful and heartbreaking what's going on in our country. And I said before, and I will say it again. Mr. Jaglio, you should be shamed when you hear what the Venezuelan president the Venezuelan minister, she's lying against this nation. It hurts you to feel just how this nation and how we are feeling when you are lying to us. It hurts us, it affects us. So I hope you learn from that and you become an example. And to the Guyana police, why are you holding off the protection to the fact finders that are here in this country? That's why I'm saying to the commissioner, instead you stand up for righteousness and for the nation, you stand up for politics and you're not valuing life and limbs. Too much of sacrifices happening in this country to the kingdom of darkness. Too much of life has been lost, freedom, limbs, and blood has been flowing in the street. It's time, Guyanese, for us to come to God's way, God's will, and realize that we need to pray and cover our family. We need to teach our children what is right, and we need to guide them and pray for each other along the way of life. So please, Guyanese, let us value what God blesses us with, and don't let us trade God made for man made. Don't matter who's it, which parties in government. God bless this nation. The rain is coming, and there's so much road project. They're doing peace, 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 and left it halfway. I don't know what is going to happen in this nation. Why aren't you at where you are? Can't reach the PPP government. Have a blessed day, Guyanese. We're going to get there. We continue to work in what is right and do what is right. Sorry that I've took so long, but have a blessed day, Guyanese. May you be one and stand up for righteousness and let us vote for peace, love, and unity against this wickedness that's taking place in this nation. God bless you, Mr. Kadaki. God bless your program. And Guyanese, we're going to get there if we stand up for righteousness and reject the evil and wickedness that's going on.
Call good morning.
Good morning, sir. In reply to what the two previous callers were saying about the fact-finding committee, and somebody right there gave it a statement and said they did not believe what the person was accused of. I don't think that should have happened at such a forum. You're there for fact-finding. And if one person or persons accuse somebody of doing something, you don't make a judgment just like that. And I think, Kadaki, you are partly responsible for these people being here. And I was surprised to hear you wanted them to say that you can't be every place because you're just an individual. No, you have said it so many times that you are prepared to make sacrifices for this fight. And you got to find out when these things taking place.
Caller.
So you watch person. Yes, sir.
Where you want blood?
Huh?
Where you want blood?
Yeah, I want blood from you because that's where you promised you're going to get if it comes up to that.
Now let me tell you something. Hear me, listen to me carefully. If as you say, I'm partly responsible for these people being here, my job is done.
No, it's not done. It's not done.
Go ahead, Carla.
You know, an action would only be completed
Carla.
when there are results. You know that.
There's results. The fact-finding team is here collecting facts. Anyways.
But if what took place here is true, we need to look at it seriously.
I can't comment because I wasn't there.
Right, I realize that. And you almost said that the arrangements that are being made for these different meetings apparently is not very well organized. I mean, somebody got to let them know. You know, this is something we're hoping to have the results that we need against this installed regime. Don't care how small it might be. Another thing I'd like to mention about Flash Gordon saying, and always trying to represent Aubrey. Aubrey is a leader, and he's there to be criticized when criticism is needed. It doesn't have anything to do with splitting or against his image or anything like that. Since he has had that meeting with the government, statements should have been coming out concerning these Venezuelans coming in, if they're still being registered. Did he get permission to oversee how they're treating them? Did the government give him any special thing and say, well, look, you can be involved or we'll keep you up to date with how we're treating these people? And if they did not, then he comes and say he's dissatisfied. He's the leader of the opposition.
Thank you,
and
Caller.
I told you before, his strategy is not one for this time, for this revolution. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm sure he's listening, or somebody who represents him is listening, so they can convey the message. The lines remain open. 6225933 is the number to call. You're tuned to Guyanese Morning Time. Yes, the lines are open. It's 11 minutes past 8 o'clock. We got a whole 49 minutes to go. So don't be afraid if you're calling and you didn't get through. Keep calling. I'm sure you will get through. I'm making a call now. Hopefully I will get through. The line is busy. Morning. Could you check your message and respond to me, please? Yes, the lines are open. 6225923 is the number to call. Remember, tonight is the Oldies. Come on down. Let's have a good time. Let's get rid of some steam. Let's hobnob. Let's rub shoulders. Let's meet and greet and all of that. If you're looking for chairs, tables, tents, chair covers, tablecloths, napkin holders, napkins, and stuff related to hosting, you can contact me on 6225923 as usual and let me give you the hookup. EC Party Rentals has all of those things to rent. Chairs, tables, tents, chair covers, tablecloths, and so on and so forth. So hit me up, EC Party Rentals, 6225923. I'll give you the hookup. You have something to transport. Like the guy the guy who complained yesterday that he had an arrangement with a man for 2 loads. The man told him he had a big enough truck. And the man ended up telling him that he can go do more than 2 loads and he got to pay for them. Sometimes you can avoid that kind of stress. Call me and let's make a hookup for you if possible. Because trucks have capacity. Right? Sometimes you need 3 trucks to do the job. 1 job. But all of us, we have to feel the squeeze in our pockets. And so the tighter we can hold, the tighter we will hold. Call A Live. Good morning.
Good morning, Kadaki. Just a quick observation here. Now, I understand some people may be upset with what's going on with respect to the fact-finding committee. But let's say one thing at least. We are glad they're there. And since they're there, and we know the circumstances surrounding the powers that be to make things don't go the way it should, we have to make ourselves flexible. You can't be 2, 3 different places at the same time. If, perchance, your schedule didn't fit into what's going on there, find an alternative way of meeting with these people. But the objective is for as many guides as possible show up to these sessions so they can air their views, because if these things aren't done, I know what's going to happen when those folks leave. Talk now. This is the time to get there and talk up. But don't try to make excuses upon excuses and believe information will meet to you. I have seen that thing advertised on Mark Bentrup show. It's on Facebook. Every which way you turn, you're hearing the information. Try and fit in somewhere, man. Stop with this excuse business and I wasn't told and I didn't know. And I mean, the time for that is done. The people are there. Make yourself flexible and find a way to get there somehow. That's what I have to say this morning. Thank you, and you have a wonderful day.
Thank you. You know, one of the things I take pride in doing is, if you call it logistics, organizing. I'm the point man for WPA when it comes to organizing meetings, for example. And I generally have a rule of thumb. If you want people to attend your meeting, right? You have to give them adequate notice. Right? If you want people to attend your meetings, you have to give them adequate notice. Yes, it's important. The fact-finding team's presence is important. Information gathering is important. It is people who have to turn up to provide information to the fact-finding team. right? But if you do not give these very people who have to bring the information to you adequate time to bring it, then you won't get it. These people have information they would love to give you because they recognize the importance of giving you that information. But if you do not give them adequate information in terms of where, when, and when, they can get it to you, then you won't get it. At least you won't get it directly from them. And that's a reality every organizer must accept. The caller said he saw the advertisement and Mark about yesterday's town hall meeting. Great. How many Guyanese? How many Guyanese were likely to see it on social media in a timely manner? In a timely manner. My rule of thumb is if I'm going to organize a meeting, I want to give people 3 days notice. It's not practical with the fact-finding team. They're only here for a week. But can people at least get a clear 24 hours notice? An itinerary, quite frankly, at least a temporary, what do you call it? A temporary itinerary, let me call it that, should have or ought to have been worked out before the team landed. And so even if you had to tweak it, you could tweak it and advertise the changes quickly. Oh, you're going to give me 3 hours notice or 4 hours notice or 6 hours notice, quite frankly, for a meeting of such importance. You don't know what people's commitments are. And so the callers say people got to stop making excuses. It's not excuses. You got to be real. While these are all important issues, anything that champions, anything that will take priority, if I can call it that for people, is their bread and butter issue. Let's keep that in mind. This caller calling for a second time. I hope he has something extraordinary to tell us. Good morning again. Good morning again.
Yeah, sorry to be double dipping to that, but I had to call back because this thing is sounding real bad.
Caller, get to the point.
It doesn't auto well. Now, this information was public so long before that these brothers from United States and sisters was coming here on a fact-finding mission long before Dr. Hines said this. You said it. Sherrod said that. Now, why couldn't people get themselves together, arm yourself with your information, and wait? Now, I was there, and I was able to present a case to the commission. I monitor everything. Why couldn't they do the same that I did? Now, these brothers and sisters have to leave the United States. You went to the United States, Kedaki. Everything is time. Everything is money. They leave their families to come here. They leave their jobs to come here for our interest. And you were saying to me, or anybody else is saying to me that this didn't go right and this should have been. If they're coming to look at your interest and to listen to your cry, you don't think it is what's incumbent upon you to monitor every movement and present yourself? That is what I did, sir. We got to stop being like this and stop complaining. I'm totally outraged about this.
Caller, thank you for your time and your outrage.
These brothers and sisters did not have to come here.
Caller, thank you for your time. Thank you for your time and your outrage. Your point is made.
You have a nice day, sir.
I mean, there usually is more in the martin than the person. I got a voice note from this caller already. Why am I getting a call now? Listen, caller, is there anything different to your voice note? Good morning.
A blessed good morning, Mr. Kadaki. A very blessed good morning to the guy. Mr. Kadaki, what happened here is nothing wrong. I know why some people are feeling offended. Nothing is wrong that if you were not there last night or Ronda was not there, the fact finders are here to collect fact. They're not here for that people can find them A, B, C, detail to set. They are here to collect facts in every area or location where they go. People in that environment can go out and give the fact to them. You encourage people to go out and give the fact. That is essential. That what is essential. Not that everybody, you should follow and go over there and go over there and follow them. That's not it. The fact is, the matter is that when they are here in Guyana, and people going out and give them the fact that happening to them and what they experience in this country and what's going on in this country. That's what is essential. And so Guyanese and those who are saying, well, who didn't know and who didn't know and who didn't hear and who didn't hear, that is why it's important giving the people them the fact. It's not of following something. And we Guyanese need to offer protection to them as to the best of our ability, no matter what part they go and where they are. God bless this nation, God, Mr. Kadaki. We are going to get there by the grace of God. And fact finder, welcome to Guyana. God bless you. May God guide and protect you in and out of this nation by the grace of God. We pray and we thank God for your protection and your presence. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Have a blessed day. Mr. Kadaki, once again, have a blessed day.
Thank you for your call. I see an extremely relevant comment on the live chat. Corinne Day. Mr. Amsterdam, I thought you had a schedule for the meetings. When you told Rhonda, you had a different schedule. Did you hear me read the schedule? I read the schedule. I read the schedule. You want me to go and bring the schedule up again? I hope I still have it open. Yesterday was Thursday. Thursday 16th was yesterday. Meeting with AFC. Meeting with PNC. Meeting with the ambassador, the US ambassador. Meeting with the PSC. Meeting with WPA. There was no town hall meeting scheduled for yesterday. And so, if you heard this itinerary from early in the week, you would have made preparations based on this itinerary. And so, if in the middle of the day yesterday you start seeing or hearing of announcements for a town hall meeting, what do? Run out of your job? Left your children unattended? Shut down your business? What do? That's a reality I want people to understand. All I'm saying is meetings as important as these, the minimum standard in my mind is a 24-hour notice. Because of two reasons. You don't want to call a meeting ad hoc and risk people not turning out because it is going to be used against you. When I heard of the town hall meeting yesterday, I prayed that people turn out. Because if people were not to turn out and the halls of Critchlow were to be empty, then the PPP would have used it against the organizers. And so it's important that organizers of events such as these understand that you cannot organize to fail. And since part of your success is getting people out to these venues to relate their experiences to the fact finders. You have to ensure that the very people who you want to get out there get adequate notice so they will get out there. Joel Ward sees it as fault finding and complaining. Unless we address our challenges, we can't fix them. So let me tell you. Based on this schedule I have, there's going to be a town hall meeting, or should I say there should be a town hall meeting tomorrow evening. That's 4 o'clock tomorrow at Tipperary Hall. The schedule that I have has a town hall meeting at Tipperary Hall 4 o'clock tomorrow. Okay? So long as that meeting takes place tomorrow at 4 o'clock, I will be there. As a matter of fact, if it takes place tomorrow, before or after 4 itself, let's say within a 1 hour time shift, I will be there. Because I've organized around that time. What if that meeting were suddenly to be brought up to 9 o'clock tomorrow morning? What happens? What happens? Or if it were to be shifted to 7 or 8 o'clock tomorrow evening, what happens? We're talking about a 4 to 6 hour time stretch. When people would have already planned for that particular hour. And so you're asking them to make magic and rearrange their lives for 4 hours or 6 hours earlier or later. It's reality. It's human beings we're dealing with. I'm not beating up on the organizers. I'm not beating up on the fact-finding team. When I come here in the mornings, I usually try to teach. Every moment is a teachable moment. Some people think it is personal. Some people treat it as personal. I ain't got no personality issue with nobody. Who knows me knows me. If I want to tell you I black, I tell you I black. But tomorrow I can hold you and hug you and shake your hand. Right? As a matter of fact, this question about meeting for Linden, I had an oversight when I was reading the schedule. Linden is scheduled for Saturday morning, according to the schedule that I have. Right? Linden is 8 o'clock in the morning. That's what I have on the schedule. So they go to Linden in the morning and then they come back to BUXTON for 4 o'clock. Right? If you ask me, it's an arduous task, but of course, the fact finders know that because of the limited time and so on, they can gotta push their body. The organizers know that. They can gotta push their body. So it's not beyond them to go to Linden 8 o'clock tomorrow morning and come back to BUXTON for 4 o'clock. Right? That is an 8-hour span. Good? It's 11 minutes. What am I saying? 29 minutes to the 9 o'clock hour. The lines remain open. Voice notes, anyone? Let me check. Morning, neighbor, morning. Morning, neighbor, morning. You know what me could I be morning? Okay, I'm on my program now. I'll text you a number. You'll call that person and ask the directions. Okay? Yes, morning, are you morning? How are you doing? What up, what up, what up, what up, what up? How was your weekend? How was your weekend? I know some people had a disappointing weekend. How was your weekend? Did you rest and recuperate? I hope you didn't rest too much. Because great heights reached and kept. Good. Great heights reached and kept did not, well, come by sudden flight, but by hard work while others slept. I hope I remember that. Might not be exact, but it was so long ago. These are things I learned as a child. Great heights reached and kept did not come by sudden flight, but by hard work um, while others slept. Is that the right thing? Y'all tell me if there's the right thing, because some of us just sleep through we glory period. We miss opportunities by sleeping. And so rest is important, but then we have to know how much rest we really need. Do we need 12 hours of sleep at nights? What are you sleeping 12 hours for? 12 hours half the day. Right? 12 hours is half the day. You don't need half day sleep. You waiting several hours there. According to my body these days, once I get 4 hours sleep, I good. Means that I got 8 hours to produce or perish. What do you think about that? How many hours do you really think you need to sleep when the day is done? All them people that multimillionaire and billionaire and so on, you think they're sleep only 12 hours? I hear they say the body needs a minimum of or the body needs 8 hours of rest or 6 hours of rest and so on. You think they just do any who does utilize all them hours of sleep? That man just sit down scheming in the night. Tomorrow morning I coming out with a plan of buy one get one. This is why advertising buy one get one. They know it's buy one and get the other at half price. Just buy one get one. BOGO they call it. And you can see how they're gonna come running down to the store. And when they don't run down to the store and they put up with the fact that it's buy one, because they ain't coming to find out, they're gonna just run down to the store and they're gonna pick up 2 pairs because it's buy one get one. And when they reach the cashier and the cashier tell them the bill and the how is that buy one get one? Yes, buy one get one half price. I didn't know it was buy one get one half price. Anyhow, all right, I can pay for it because of pride. That is marketing for you right there, pride. Pride does make a lot of people do a lot of things. Sometimes we consider it stupid things when we end up when we sit back and we reflect. It's called impulsive buying. You buy upon impulse. You didn't stop to see if you really want this thing because you see it cheap. You consider it cheap, right? So them man does just sit down in the nights and them man is planning the plan out to get your money out your pocket while you sleeping. While you're in your slumber, them man making plans out to disabuse you of your money. Right? So I hope you all rest this weekend, but I hope you all didn't really oversleep. Annette is telling us the heights that great men reached and kept were not attained by sudden flight, but them while their companions slept were toiling upward through the night. Yes, that's the exact thing. But you know me, I like Prissy and Son. I don't want to rock this old brain too long to remember nothing. You get the idea though? Good. As long as you get the idea, that's the citation. We can't oversleep and we can't sleep as I like to say, you don't sleep on a moving train. It's dangerous to you. Right? But as you get older, these things happen, you don't even realize they happen because the body takes control, right? I remember as a youth, man, you couldn't get me to sleep on no bus. Nowadays, I would be driving my car and not in. Right? So, times and people change. But keep in mind, you gotta stay woke, people. You gotta stay woke. Morning, how was your weekend? I hope you all made some good homemade bread and cakes and pastries and so on. And did some marketing and got some sales and earned some extra income and thing. I really am a champion of that. Y'all trust me, I will always talk about it. Because like the brother said the other morning, profits are better than wages. But you have to be willing to put in the work. You gotta work. Yesterday I was on the west side, and when I turned the corner there, that's where I'm built, I guess, to get onto these bank highway, main road, whatever they call it. I noticed the dog food vendors out there. This particular guy with a minibus packing out his dog food and so on. I reflected. I said, the small businessman is the hardest working in the whole hierarchy of business. Sunday to Sunday, he's toiling because you want to make it. Missing a day might cost you your business. Some people don't even realize that. But then they look and they tell themselves, you're making it. They see your glory. They see how you're looking flashy. They don't know the sacrifices you make. I reflect on that ever so often. But I encourage you, continue to make sacrifices, because with sacrifices come growth and rewards. At some point in time, you will reap the benefits of your inputs, your labor. Even if not you, as in you, your next generations will reap that benefit. Good. But of course, you have to prepare your next generations to reaping that benefit. Otherwise, they will squander your sacrifices. I think it's one of the shortcomings we have as a people. We as the elders, we toil and we toil and we toil to make everything light work and easy work for the next generation, because what we go through, we in one day go through. How many of you are guilty of that? Me? Why go through? I don't want my children them go through. Fair enough. Very good position to take. What I didn't got, I want my children get that and more. Good enough, fair position to take. But you also have to teach your children the value of sacrifices. And the value, the benefits of respecting not only the sacrifices of others, but your own sacrifices. And maintaining and defending the gains that resulted from those sacrifices. Because no point in me toiling in my generation to ensure that my next generation is well placed in a better position. And then the 12 plots of land that I left for them and the gas station that I left for them, the minute I close my eyes, they get this bright idea. Yet all them land is only 4. We don't need 12 plots of land. Let me take one piece each and sell out the rest. Got gas station, no, we ain't interested. We won't sit down for run the me with gas station. Let me sell it out. Right? It might sound like fiction, but it has happened, and it will continue to happen unless we really prepare our children and encourage them to prepare their children. As a matter of fact, while we are alive, if we can also assist in preparing their children to take charge of those legacies, they will be better off. Much, much better off. Well, one set of people shunning the inheritance. They got some people killing so that they can get it faster. Right? I know of several stories I can tell about that, including gas station story too. But I remember years ago I looked at a movie named what was the name? I can't remember the name. What is this guy? Sancho. Y'all know Sancho. Sancho's grandfather told him, he said, Sancho, when I die, all of this, my entire empire is to you. Sancho took out the gun and he shot him. Say, it's taking too long to die, Grandpa. Right? So some people would kill for their legacy. Others will watch it, they will take it and they will squander it. I'm going to talk a name because it's a name that they talk with me. I hope I ain't offend nobody. A man was made grave sacrifices in this city to acquire things. Made one of his children power of attorney over a couple properties, a well-placed piece of land. And before he knew it, the boy was in a relationship with one of them straight-ear girls who occupies a big position in this country in the legal fraternity, and convinced the boy to sell her the plot of land for next to nothing. Yeah. A price way lower than an offer that the father refused previously. Father refused the offer previously because he knows the value of what he has. And he knows that he wants to pass it to his next generation because it will accrue in value. But the person he put it in their hand, they didn't even got a clue what sacrifice looked like. They didn't even have a clue about the value of what they had. And so they squander it because, like Flash Garden say, they let Buzzy the ruling bigger. You're making joke when people lie down and having pillow talk. All kinds of deals are made in pillow talk. Or bedroom conversations, all kinds of deals are made there. And when you wake up, you realize you lost your inheritance. Y'all don't think a girlfriend and wasting your time. You lost your inheritance. And then when you reflect, you realize you were not a good steward because down the line you might end up a pauper. And then you got time to reflect on the poor decisions you made, either out of love or infatuation or just callous. I'm cautioning you, don't sleep at the wheel. Teach your children. Let them understand the sacrifices and the values of what you have. Right? Good. What do we have to talk about this morning apart from that? Lots of other things. I want us to talk about what transpired in Linden and what didn't transpire in Buxton. And my assessment of why these things transpired. And how I think we can fix them in the future. Right? But because before I go there, let me say, because I just reflected on what I said to you about all the bad deals and so on that are made in bedrooms. Right? Brian Marx alleges that Ghana has a stupid president now because of a bad deal that was made in a room. I'm sure all of you will hear the tapes. If you didn't hear the tapes, I'm sorry. I won't play it. It got too much cuss, man. It got enough. Well, I ain't got no problem with cuss, quite frankly. But, oh God, it borders on indecency. But I want to ask you the question. If somebody has a secret for you, and they're using that secret to manipulate you, what do you do after that secret is out? Can you still be manipulated by that secret, or that secret is supposed to be liberating for you? No matter how embarrassing it is, should that secret be liberating for you? Because with Brian Marx's allegations, right? Right? Brian Marx alleges that Jack Dio has secrets to Irfan Ali. Right? Has secrets to Irfan Ali. And it is because of those secrets he is able to manipulate Irfan Ali. And so now that Brian Marx has revealed those secrets, or the alleged secrets, because I didn't know that, so I don't know. Right? I'm asking the question. should Ali still allow himself to be manipulated? Or there are other secrets, maybe bigger, better, or worse, depending on from which angle you're looking at it, that Jack Giono has over Ali. Right? According to according to Brian Max, Ali was manipulated into compromising positions. First, with some young ladies, and secondly, with a male. Well, according to Brian, an anti-man. Right? We would normally say, we'd say homosexual. But not all anti-men are homosexuals, so maybe Brian is technically right. But in short, Brian is alleging that Ali was manipulated to compromise himself with some females, and then to be compromised by a male of maybe different sexual orientation. I'm not sure. But in short, he allowed his he was manipulated and his pleats got depleted. And so he's using that. That is what he used to manipulate Irfan into accepting the puppet position, puppet presidency, if I can call it that. That's not something you can put beyond Jack Dio. Because I will take you back to Queenstown. New Garden Street, Queenstown. Was that New Garden and Forshaw? Perhaps I think New Garden of Forshaw Street, Queenstown. Peter Ramsey. Y'all remember Peter Ramsey? Peter Ramsey has or had an apartment building there where he was alleged to be spying on some young ladies who was occupied, occupied one of his apartments. It is alleged that he had cameras and he was a peeping Tom. And the PPP was going hard at him to jail him. People allege that one of the young ladies was Jack Dio's lover. And from that point, Peter Ramsey turned friendly with the PPP. Y'all remember that story? Because up to that point, he was a harsh critic of the PPP. But after those allegations were made, Peter became a lover of the PPP. He ended up in bed with the PPP. And so one can assume that that's a common practice, the MO, modus operandi of Jack Dio. He knows how to manipulate people. But now that his story is out, as Brian Max alleges, and the world knows, as Brian Max alleges, that Irfan Ali was manipulated because of these dirty secrets. How liberating should that be for Ali? You can't wash away the fact that these things happen if they happen. But you can take it as a moment of liberation and say, well, everybody know now. So he doesn't have anything hanging over my head. And so I can be my own man now. And be the kind of president I really want to be or should be. Right? That is what I think. And so let's see here from Ali's behavior from now on. Let's look at Ali's behavior from now on, and so we can determine whether or not he's liberated or he's further enslaved by these allegations, accusations. I'm on my program. I'm on my program. Is it urgent? Good. We'll talk. Yes. So let's look at that and look at those developments. But Max is really spilling his guts. He's saying a lot of things that a lot of us have been saying before, but y'all the pains can't regard to. I know y'all got things running all over the place, like if Max, as if it's a new Eureka moment. Because these are things we've said. The revelations about Jagdio ordering the death of, or Jagdio allegedly ordering the death of Sashsa and Wanawara. Nothing new there. We have always said that the murder of Sashsa was an internal fallout. Because as agriculture minister at the time, Sash was not up to the time. He was not playing the game the PPP wanted him to play, or Ali Jagdio wanted him to play with Roger Khan, etc., with Kawailan and so on. And so it has long been the belief, and it has long been said that that's why they outed him. Good. Waddle. Sean Hines has told us that story about Waddle's death. Mad Max is now, if you would like, confirming it. So, don't be worried. I don't know if it is Max is clearing his conscience, or Max is really, really upset with some people. And as they say, cussing get back door. So he's just cussing them. So I don't see anything new in these revelations, quite frankly. But maybe thankful to TikTok and Reels and so on. They're making the rounds and people are now jumping up. What are y'all going to do with the information? Are you living in a country where the police will collect Max because he should now be a person of interest? He has all of this information and he claims that he has evidence. Is he? Are we living in such a country? No. He claims that he is protected by the US. Is that how US agents behave? I doubt it. But has he provided all of this information backed up with the evidence and so on to the US authorities? If so, he perhaps should tell us when and how. And so that we should start calling on the US authorities to act on all of that information which Max has and maybe has provided them with. Good. So those are things to consider. I see making the rounds also is an allegation that $4 million was paid for Max's assassination. Right? Well, we always know life in this country is free, it's cheap. $4 million for Max. Max's life, then Max ain't value much. Right? Like he said too with the lawsuit, the $5 million lawsuit, he was disappointed that $5 million, that money place much value on me life. Or why they sue me for such a little? Good. So those are some of the things I wanted to just talk about. Don't worry. I don't think the president is going to allow his fleets to be further depleted. Unless he liked it. Let's talk now about this craziness. Right? That happened in Linden. Now, the town hall is taking place and I'm getting a call and I'm hearing all the raucousness in the background. The ruction. And I'm told that PP cooperatives in Linden disrupted the Linden meeting. First question that will come to mind is how? How could happen in Linden? How look at them in Linden? PPP operatives disrupting meeting in Linden. So, all right, I will try to follow the thing and find out what's up. And as I continue paying attention to, all the goings on, I came to realize several things. The organizers set themselves up for failure in Linden. They set themselves up for failure in Linden. Because they took Linden for granted. And maybe they took the influence of the PPP in Linden for granted. Good? Why am I saying this? Linden and Buxton are seen as two of the most vigilant predominantly Afro-Guyanese communities when it comes to dealing with the PPP. The PPP has always been scheming to get control of Linden or to tame Lindeners. And there's a long history of the PPP denying Lindeners a fair chance. In short, being discriminatory to Lindeners. And such a fact-finding team on discrimination, racism, and prejudice is in this country. It's natural to expect them to head to Linden to hear the story or stories. It is also natural, knowing the way the PPP behaves, to try to create an alternative narrative to what is going to be told to the fact finders in Linden or Buxton, or better yet, create so much chaos that the fact finders will not get to hear the stories of Lindeners or Buxtonians. And any organizer of such fact-finding mission should take that into consideration way ahead of time and put systems in place to ensure it doesn't happen. And the fact that it has happened suggests to me that the organizers failed to take those things into consideration and to take the necessary preventative measures. Right? They failed to take the necessary preventative measures. What are some of the measures that could have been taken? Number one, to protect your integrity, you announce to the world the structure of your town hall meeting in Linden, like you should have announced to the world the structure of your town hall meeting anywhere you were holding it. There will be opening statements by the panel. Let's say I'm just talking things in my head. There will be opening statements by the panel for 15-20 minutes, following which we will take statements from people on the floor. Time allotted, 3 to 5 minutes or 5 minutes per person, whatever. For so much time, then we will move from statements, maybe to question and answers for X amount of time, and the panel comes to an end at white time. That shows structure, that shows organization. And so anybody who comes to the town hall meeting will understand that this is the structure of the town hall meeting. These are the rules by which they agree to play, by the mere fact that they are at the town hall meeting, because this thing would have been made public. This is how we will do it. And so when you follow that structure, nobody can accuse you or successfully claim that you discriminated against them with time or structure. Right? And so I'm saying the failure to do those things set the team up for failure. And I'm not accusing the team of failing. I'm saying that the organizers failed to put systems in place to ensure that these things don't happen. What is the other thing that should have been done to ensure such things don't happen? Knowing that the government has provided no security to protect the lives and freedoms and comfort of the commissioners, if I can call them that, the fact finders, the organizers had a responsibility to put such systems in place. Understand what I'm saying? Security for the fact finders is the responsibility, or was the responsibility, of their hosts who invited them, who brought them, who are responsible for moving them from point A to point B, who are responsible for organizing locally for them. Security was their responsibility. So we should have had security arrangements that will make the commissioners comfortable to, number one, go any place where the evidence leads. And number two, comfortably accept presentations from people wherever they went. But let's call it hindsight, if you want to call it that. They say hindsight is 20/20 vision. The fact that Linden was allowed to happen suggests that either there were no such arrangements or those arrangements fell through, they were poorly adhered to. And so these are learning lessons for us. We have to do better than that. It is not only the government that can secure people. As a matter of fact, when Ali was campaigning for president, the Granger government wasn't protecting him, wasn't providing security for him, as far as I know. It was a private organization which provided the security. Allegedly, the Mohammeds were protecting him. They provided him with armored vehicle. They provided him with armed personnel for his protection. The Mohammeds is not a public. They don't run a public security agency. They have a private gold operation, as far as I know, and maybe a private security service. Maybe, because I'm not even sure that the Mohammeds have a security service, in that it contracts itself to other places to provide security. But in this instance, their personnel were used, allegedly, to provide security for the person of Irfan Ali. And so I'm saying that with the fact finders coming and us being aware that no security is provided for them by the government, we ought to have made arrangements for them to be secured by a private company. or a group of private individuals. Remember when things appeared to be getting out of order in this country, Sheriff Security stepped forward and said, we are going to protect communities. And we know the communities which they were stationed at. Communities that they considered vulnerable at the time. Majority Indo-Guyanese communities. And even though we can make, we can establish the nexus between that decision and what Brian Mack said in terms of who owns Sheriff Security Service. Remember, we were always asking the question? Well, Brian Mack says Jack Doe. And so that confirms in my mind or strengthens my claim that Jack Dio got his own private security services, his own paramilitary groups, or the PPP got their own paramilitary groups around this country masquerading as security services. Brian Max strengthened that assertion of mine. Right? So that is how things rolling in this country according to the boys on the street. Why is it we couldn't get a private security company or a group of individuals, maybe like Blackwater, to protect the commissioners, the fact finders, escort them in and out, protect the facility wherever they were taking the evidence from, listening to people's presentations? Why not? Because if that were the case, when the people became raucous in Linden, those responsible for securing the facility and the occasion should have simply stepped forward and quietly removed them from the building. Because that is what securities do. Secure at all costs. We didn't see any of that happening. And so I'm saying there was a failure on the part of all of us who are organizers of this event. Don't I include myself, because the one caller last week said I was partially responsible for the fact finders coming. So I happen to carry that burden. Get? Recognizing these things have happened, recognizing these shortcomings, I'm going to return to a call that I made previously. And that is, black people need a group of people to defend black people's interest and safety in this country. Black people, note I'm saying black people, don't tell me about African Guyanese and black people, Afro-Guyanese, need a group of people to defend them. Armed to the teeth. I'm not making an apology for making that call. Armed to the teeth. Legally armed to the teeth. I'm not talking about illegalities. In the early days of struggling in the U.S. for equality and this and that and the other and the next, one of the aiding factors was the formation of the Black Panther movement. Because once that Black Panther movement was formed, white supremacists, etc., knew that there was a counterforce to deal with, even in all of their arrogance. And until such time in this country that people understand that black people got defenders, they're not going to respect us, but they will continue to abuse us and continue to take advantage of us being in an indefensive position. And so I'm asking the question, where are the black security companies in this country? You may even tell me the Granger administration didn't license any organization to be a security company like Sheriff, they got sheriff, they got Queensway, they got Ocean Can, they got all kinds of security services in this country that are in the PPP camp. You mean that none of the security services licensed in this country are in the camp of African Guyanese or even the opposition? You mean none of them didn't get a license under the coalition government to show their allegiance? I'm just asking. The history of the Ghana Defense Force and the Ghana Police Force and the People's Militia and Ghana National Service would show you that a majority African Guyanese were servicemen and women and are servicemen and women in these organizations. You mean to tell me they ain't got no retired soldiers and police and national servicemen and militiamen and so on who can come together and band themselves together in a group that has as its main purpose protecting the lives and freedoms of Afro-Guyanese? You mean to tell me that we couldn't, as organizers, find a dirty dozen to secure the lives and freedom of the fact finders when they came to this country and we learned that the government was not going to offer them any security and so on? And recognizing this failure, is it not critical that our leaders, so-called leaders, activists, etc., make the necessary efforts to correct this anomaly? I am saying, if nobody recognizes it then, it is claimed now that these are things to be pursued. These are things to be pursued. I know they're going to come, they're going to say, Mr. Amsterdam calling for violence. No, I haven't asked anybody to kill anybody, to murder anybody, and so on and so forth. Despite the fact that those who had the misbehavior in Linden in South Africa, Winnie Mandela would have given them a necklace sometime sooner or later. But a lot of them would have known that they don't line up for the necklace, because Winnie Mandela wasn't standing for that. And that too contributed to the success of the struggle to topple apartheid in South Africa. What are we willing to contribute to the struggle to topple apartheid in Guyana, South America? Right? Every day you walk the street, you could hear somebody boasting out them his old soldier. What being a old soldier serves, if not to aid and aid in the defense of your people? We got to do better. You have to do better. We must do better. That said, let me come to Buxton now. They say the fact-finding team refused to come to Buxton or chose not to come to Buxton because of that bad experience in Linden. You hear they say? One rotten apple has damaged the old bag or something. Because of the bad behavior in Linden. That bad behavior was used as an excuse for not coming to Buxton. But I dare say, I feel insulted as a Buxtonian because I know that could not and would not have been allowed in Buxton. That could not and would not have been allowed in Buxton. Because those of us who were organizing Buxton would not have stood for it. Security or not, we would have been our own security network. Nobody comes into a meeting organized by a group of us in Buxton and disrupt it. We don't stand for that. I don't care. We don't care if it's PPP or God himself send them. they would have known their place. And so to say that the fact finders didn't want to come to Buxton to do that meeting because of the security scare in Linden, I say y'all is past me. Y'all taking me for granted. But I also argued in this program that I'm sure that the fact finders have a representative sample enough to form their opinions, to form their conclusions on. Good? And so I'm waiting to see the reports, the findings of the fact-finding commission, because I'll tell you this, the fact-finding team, that disruption which took place at Linden will also form a part of the evidence to be considered in the analysis of the PPP's behavior and misbehavior. Okay? So I'm not too disturbed that they disrupted the meeting in Linden, because that too will form part of the analysis. But I want to highlight to us some of the things that made it possible for them to disrupt the meeting, and we must, in the future, take steps to prevent those things, because in other instances, it could have caused the life of somebody. That's a fact. It could have caused the life of somebody. And we have to safeguard against those things. Okay? Last but not least, I find some poor decisions were made in the management of the town hall meetings. It makes absolute no sense to me to give somebody 3 minutes to speak on a matter as important as discrimination. And worse yet, 1 minute. How much can I say in 1 minute on discrimination or my experiences of discrimination? How much evidence can I provide in 3 minutes to a fact-finding team on discrimination? So we have to decide, are we going to allow people to speak on what they're presenting, or just let them present dossiers on their issues? That, again, should be a learning experience for us going forward. Lines are open. 6225933 is the number to call. 6225933 is the number to call. Club Twilight returns to its usual karaoke on Friday nights. Much improved environment and so on. Wonderful atmosphere, good sound system, big screens. Come down to Club Twilight this and every Friday for karaoke. There is going to be a one-man band in the house frequently. Admission is free. Call A Live. Good morning.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Amsterdam. Good morning, everyone in Guyanese diaspora. Good morning, all Guyanese. We would like to make the point that the fact-finding mission should be continued. Because as on your last point before you exited, you concluded your opening statements was that the insufficiency of 1 minute or 3 minutes. So I can't imagine that a fact-finding mission came to Guyana out of a need to address at least 23 to 26 years of discrimination and haven't had sufficient time to do that. So it's quite obvious to professional fact-finders that the job isn't completed. I liken it to this. If a fact-finding mission went to Palestine to assess the situation, and they only went to the West Bank of Palestine, but weren't able to go to the Gaza Strip. I equate BUXTON, in historical sense, in this context, to the Gaza Strip because it was the theater, which is emblematic of the troubles. So you can't tell me you've got a proper assessment of extrajudicial killings, and you never went to Gaza. You never went to the main theater. You can't properly get an assessment of what's happening in Israel and Palestine currently. And you only went to Gaza, or you went to Jerusalem and look across from the hill. You only went to Linden. You went to West Coast, Berbice, and NA and other parts, and you figure by ratio, you can quantify the magnitude just by standing on the perimeters. And not going to the theater itself, Buxton. The theater of extrajudicial killings. Anyone can tell you, any part of the world, if you talk about the troubles in Guyana, they happen all over Guyana. But Buxton is the place that's considered a theater. Good. So, for professionals, I think this would have to be continued. I think that's a given. So we should make the proposal that this ought to be continued in the sake of justice. Now on the matter of security, when the moderator opened the show on the very first day of the press conference, she said that they are accredited fact finders from the United Nations. She said that, if you recall that. She said they are United Nations accredited consultancy group. So let's say that they had went to Haiti, because they travel the world doing that very same thing. That's what she alluded to. Within the United Nations. Good. So you go to Haiti. You got to have some security in Haiti. You've got a situation in Sudan recently. You've got to have people in Sudan or Liberia. So how do you come to Guyana? So where was the security for the United Nations? I'm trying to flesh this out in my head. Are we to assume that when fact finders go into these terrible areas, you're going to look into extrajudicial killings? That to begin with says that if there are extrajudicial killings happening there, that's a violent area. Now, from time to time, we normally see the State Department giving out travel advisories. Don't come to Guyana. They might snatch your chain, and there are a lot of robbers there. At least twice a year you hear that. So I don't know how do you come to Guyana to look into extrajudicial killings, and you're not taking the environment seriously enough. I don't think so. Right? So it tells me that these protocols are in place. When you're sending these officials, these fact finders in these areas, you do have to send security with them. That's a given. Come on now. That's a given. Another thing. Are we saying that the State Department doesn't know about these Americans who are elected officials from their states of crying out loud? These people are elected officials from their respective states. These are like parliamentarians. So let me give a quick example. People appreciate something. When my children travel to Guyana, they give them malaria tablets, and they say don't go certain places. They say, here's what they say. Make sure you check into the embassy in Georgetown as soon as you get there. That's what they tell regular American-born children. You check into the embassy. So I'm trying to understand. Here are above regular people, elected officials of their states. You're coming on an international delegation, first of all, from the United Nations. And if you're working with the United Nations, you have to clear it with the State Department because you're operating as a foreign agent in some capacity. So you have to clear that with the State Department. So I'm trying to understand. How is it they leave the United States, venture out to do dangerous work, potentially dangerous work, right? That's a given. And the State Department doesn't brief them. When they get to Guyana, they don't check into the embassy, and the embassy on the ground in Guyana doesn't give them sufficient coverage. Hold on a second. There are so many protocols that are falling, that have been overlooked here, jumped over, that I can't understand. So while we say Guyana, also Guyana has a responsibility on the protocol. I can't see how the PPP are claiming that they're protecting people in tourism. This is a tourism state. You got a campaign going all around the country talking about campaign. You got Venezuelans in the country who are running around, who are linking up with the FARC. Right? Venezuelans who are linking up with FARC and Maduro. And they potentially could have kidnapped those people. Potentially. Right? We always say hindsight is 2020. When 9/11 was happening, there were a lot of telltale signs on the ground, but everybody saw them after the fact. Right? When the Charanda situation happened, everybody see these things after the fact. When the situation happened in Palestine recently, 3 or 4 weeks ago with Israel, everybody saw that security was lapsed after the fact. And everybody saw the telltale signs. So I don't understand how the embassy of the United States is in Georgetown and they can't see all these potential security risks hanging precariously about the environment. You've got an escalated, unprecedented escalation of Venezuelans in Guyana. To the point where the international court has raised the specter that this is of highest security, and you've got people moving around, and you've got elements you can't account for, and you don't think it's important to have security to cover Americans that potentially could be kidnapped? Did they kidnap people in Guyana from the American embassy before? Talk to me. Did they kidnap them? So I don't understand what the U.S. embassy was doing on this.
Wrap up.
And we can't let them off the hook. So while we welcome, and let me say we welcome these fact finders because we worked for it and it's deserved. Justice is calling for it. Not me. Justice is calling for it. Due process is calling for it. Right? Human rights is calling for it. So how do we protect that process? So that process has to be continued. The PPP government fell down on the job. Because their responsibility is to follow the protocol that comes with the territory. You've got dignitaries that are coming here from the United Nations. These people said they're accredited by the United Nations. So between Airford Ali's government, between the United Nations, and between the U.S. Embassy in Kingston, they all fell down on the job. But I guess they wait until people get kidnapped. God forbid. But these things have already happened in other theaters.
Thank you, caller.
Right? Once again, thank you for accepting the call.
Thank you for your call. Voice note.
Good morning to Dakian listeners. I want to start off
Call all the line.
by saying that yes, there are security companies in Guyana that have persons who either own the company or are part of the managerial structure that are also, just for one I can speak about, the one that I worked with for 5 years. It has a different name now, which I can't remember, but it used to be Cops Guyana Limited. Mr. Gaskin, who is now passed, Mr. Gaskin ensured that things of the government of that nature there would have been some kind of collaboration, but not things of the government only. For private organizations and certain events, he probably would have been part of that, or he probably would have offered assistance to whoever were the organizers of the fact-finding thing. I know Mr. Gomes from Caliber also has a background of military service. So it's not that there aren't persons black-owned security services. There are black-owned security services. Mr. Gaskin is passed and things have changed a bit at COPS, but Sentinel is the name. But the managerial, the persons at the top are old soldiers, old persons from national service, and I think militia. So there are black-owned organizations that could have offered service. The thing is, was that even considered? Because I find that sometimes, and I know people can get upset with me now, but I find that sometimes people take a lot for granted, and so Guyana is not like it used to be. The politicians of today aren't like it used to be in the past. So when I hear words like I'm surprised and I'm disappointed, it ticks me off because they should know better. But the good thing about that is that next time, I hope that that is a learning curve, and next time they will know that those mistakes cannot be repeated. What I'm surprised at, and this comes now to planning again. Okay, so you're not going to BUXTON, but can we do online something? I forget what we call it at the moment, but can we do something online? So we get there and you do it something like a conference call. So the people are there, you can see them, and the persons are at this particular place, and they're allowed to present too. Their presence is not there physically, but something is being done. Couldn't something like that have been organized? Because let me tell you, for them to say that BUXTON and the scare and all of that, from the years I've lived on the East Coast, BUXTON would never place like that. If you go in BUXTON, you better be on your Medi, because if you're not on your Medi, chances are something will happen to you in BUXTON. BUXTONians, as far as I remember, don't tolerate certain things. And I'm not saying this to make you or BUXTONians look good. I'm saying it because it's a fact. And so for me, some alternative measure should have been put in place so that the persons on the East Coast would have still gotten an opportunity even though the persons were not there physically. You asked the question, what about security services in Guyana? My brother, most of the security services in Guyana are not properly organized, but they're there. And so I urge black people especially who like to go into military services, to offer military security services. I urge you to check into the background of those small security services before you decide to seek employment with them. Most of them are owned by Indian businessmen who put their sons as fronts, and then they do the usual. They put a black man or an Afro-Guyanese, if we want to be decent, to run the service. Sometimes the person who is running the service has no military experience, has no security experience, and I know what I'm talking about. Some of them actually carry weapons, right? I mean, now I'm talking about the security officers. They actually carry the weapons before they are given a precept. Because they are Indian businessmen, they have contacts in the police force who do not do the right thing. So, for instance, you have to be assessed mentally, right? You have to be assessed in terms of your behavioral patterns, etc. Then you have to be trained by the police force. That's how I know it. There are a lot of persons carrying weapons in the small business companies at the moment who have unprecepted officers. So that question you're asking about what happened to the small business services, my brother, sometimes it's good to leave things alone. Because them small services can get some of our black brothers and sisters either locked up or killed. Because as far as I remember, if you don't have a license to carry a firearm, you're not supposed to be carrying a firearm. So let's look at that too. And finally, I would like to say, in retrospect, even though it looked bad on the part of the organizers, those PPP councillors and whoever else played right into they would say a perception, but they played right into what the PPP does. I repeat, it's the modus operandi of the People's Progressive Party and its people to one, disrespect people, two, to insult the intelligence of black people, and three, try to think that bullyism will work. And for the bullyism, they always employ the services of a black person. What a shame. I can't remember who it is, but there was somebody who said they use us to kill us. Good morning.
Thank you for your call. The lines remain open. 6225933 is the number to call. Oh, I think there's a call on the line. Or no, I think that call was disconnected. Call your life.
Morning to that and morning, Guyana. Great call from Coffee and great voicemail from the lady. I am not surprised at what have taken place in Linden, and I think one of the things that we have to look at is the mindset of the elected officials, and I will refer to the town clerk that was installed by the PPP in Linden. And it seems like we don't take the PPP seriously, or we think their behavior is normal. So here's it. I found out that the town clerk was installed, right, by the PPP. The former town clerk resigned, and the PNC, didn't know that. And it's supposed to be a stronghold. So what does that tell us about what's happening in the country? We continue just to govern as usual, knowing that you have a racist mafia, PPP party, and then you have African Guyanese that I simply just don't understand us. So, do their big thing. And what it just looks like is that the former town clerk resigned, and it seems like there was some collusion going on where he would resign, and then the PPP would install that clown who disrupted the inquiry that was going on in Linden. So we keep being behind the 8 ball. We don't see these moves coming and just let it rest. So the fact-finding mission was in Guyana. And as far as what you guys are talking about, security, don't know how that got arranged and all of that. Now, they weren't secure even from the time they got to the Not sure if it's the United States business in reference to that, although Coffee was saying that they were accredited UN agency. And how does that work? So again, when we look at ourselves and the way we operate, we are always behind the 8 ball. Even you were talking about having black security form in Guyana, but apparently we are what 90% of the military and the police force, but yet still we can't open up that, so we can't do that for ourselves. So we are just, I guess, just work. We don't want to own nothing, or we don't think we need to own anything. We just need to work for somebody. And I order saying the cheapest thing in Guyana is a black man because you can pay him to do it. And that's my tip.
Thank you for your call. Voice note.
A very blessed good morning to you, Mr. Kadaki, and the rest of the organization. God bless your program as per normal. Mr. Kadaki, I want to thank God. I want to give God all the praise, all the thanks, all the glory, and all the honor. And the reason why I'm saying this is because He deserves it. He's the creator, is the most high God, is almighty. And He deserves all the thanks, glory, and honor. However, it is so sad when you hear what took place in Linden and come to realization that what really occurred is nothing surprising. And what the fact finders they had experienced is nothing surprising. But everything worked for good for those that serve God. And the reason why I say everything worked for good for those that serve God, the Guyanese nation should have known, since the government pulled out from that and said that they are not a part of it, know to expect a retaliation to cause the fact finder not to look as though they are fact finders, but to look as though they are linked with the opposition party. And that is supposed to be taken on board. They didn't offer no protection whatsoever. However, God protection is the best protection, even though we know that human beings could play a part in whatever. I give God praise and thanks. And Peter ended up paying for Paul, and Paul paying for all this.
Hello, line.
Appears. But to the rest of the Guyanese nation, may I say this to you. Everything works for good for those that serve God. Because I know without a doubt that if that had happened in Buxton, it would not have gone down easy. And the fact finder made a wise decision not to go, man. Let me continue to say, not because they're scared or nothing, but they prevent the name and they prevent everything because they see in the smear campaign that the PPP government is out to. And these nonsense they're talking against the fact finders because they're trying to link them with the opposition. What a disgrace. And it's a shame to see many Afro-Guyanese allow themselves to be used by the PPP government to pretensively deny that they're not corruption and they're not this thing going on in this thing. Anyhow, God bless this nation. We're going to get there. Once again, I'm saying that it's a blessing in disguise. And I give God praise and that everything works for good for those that serve God. It will still be effective and it still will achieve its goal in the mighty name of our Father. Have a blessed day, guys. Thank you, Mr. Kadaki. God bless your program.
Caller, thank you for holding. You're live.
Yeah, good morning to you and all my black brothers and sisters in Guyana. This is Uncle Flash. Happy Monday to all of you guys. You know, let me say this before I go into my words then. I'm calling upon all the Guyanese them in America. Are you have a chance now for right to, are you congressman? Are you senator? Even to the small office them and let them know what went on at BUXTON, at Mackenzie, And let them know and ask the question why they did not give protection. Why the American embassy did not give protection? What taxpayers pay for? You all have a chance to right, and let Uncle Flash know how many weeks you all take and what done. Just go to direct to Mr. Coffee. You have the time now for write them now. Move on, Flash. Let me focus on you. No disrespect. You know why that happened in BUXTON? Because the PPP afraid of you. Oh God. One place they must not go for hear one voice is Mr. Amsterdam. Morning news, morning time. Because they know that you will cover every part, every problem in Guyana, you cover it. And the people them will give up their time for you continue for late. You dug them out. It's you cause that. You cause them not to go to BUXTON. And then some people because they're afraid of you. But you are untouchable towards them because they know, like Flashguard and others, they love you. And they know if they touch you, the whole of Annydale, is that Dale? They're going to be trouble. So them still protecting them people because what you say and laid out any other party will want to urge you and lock you up, but they cannot because of your brains and your knowledge. When you come there, you just carve your words them so they get no excuse. But I'm saying, they're afraid of you. Sleep with the door open, they're afraid of you. It is thinking we talk, but nothing connection. And people must stop saying these words. Uncle Flash don't like these words. Stop saying, oh, I do hope they'll learn from their mistake. How many time and years Black Guyanese learn from their mistake? It's willfully they're doing these things, and that is what Black people have to stop them from doing willfully things. The other edges in Guyana, them edges, Black man will protect whole people. Let me stop using word mistake. Look how many things they've done, and we learn from our mistakes. I will stop now till tomorrow. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you for your call.
Morning, Kadaki and listeners and viewers. Happy Monday to you guys. I am 100% in agreement with your analysis.
Hello, the line.
There were poor planning for these delegates. Poor. They should have been contingency plan for every location these people going. They should have been contingency plan. Something that stands out and bothered me dearly, these house slaves that I have showing these press conference on social media, in Barbies and in Linden, that the PPP put up to do these, to undermine these delegates, these fact-finding people, put them there to undermine these people. Is the PPP work? They do that themselves. That's the PPP work because the PPP object meeting these delegates, and to make it worse, they decide to put these house slaves to do what they did. It's disgusting. It's ridiculous. And these people should be fined and be flushed out of your out of neighborhoods and society. There's no place for traitorous, including Sioux landlord. There's no traitorous, no place for traitorous in this country. They must be flushed out. Guyana's gonna burn. Guyana is gonna burn, and Venezuela gonna start it. That's all I have to say.
Caller, thanks for holding your life. Caller, your life. Caller, you are live. Lines remain on 6225923 is the number to call. Caller, good morning, you're live.
Yeah, good morning, Gadaki. Most of the comments that were made, I will go with them. The fact-finding thing, it was a thing that was supposed to be done better. The persons who planned it cannot plan anything. Because those people came here, I think, at the starting of the week. And when you got to the grapevine, the first meeting that happened around Thursday or Tuesday, I got Wednesday. But had these people planned for this fact-finding committee, it would have been a successful thing. But they did no planning. When the people there were like the 5 virgins, 10 virgins, 5 go with oil in the lamp, 5 and go with oil. But if I was one of them virgins and I didn't go with oil and need extra oil, I would stay in the blackout. They didn't custom to blackout. And by the time the bridegroom come over the thing, they are like the 5 virgins. They made no proper plans to these people. When the people now ascended on them, they're running either to the onion, and they didn't look to get people who could have planned events, all like you and others like you, to draw y'all into the team and say, look, we meet a bottleneck. Please help us out. And I know if something like that was being extended to you, Kadaki, you would have been annoyed. You would have been tired. But you would have taken it to task to see that this facts finding come out with a better rating than it is being given, because I am rating it as very poor. Now when we come back to this thing, they planned the meeting for Linden on Saturday. And then they said they would have come to Buxton on Saturday. Anyway, the meeting that was planned for Saturday eventually was done a day before. And the Saturday, when they were to be in Buxton and to do the Linden meeting, they were on a plane, I understand. At least so it is being alleged. And they end up with mechanical difficulties viewing. Now, when people come to Guyana, we don't say we don't want you to visit, but you have got to set your priorities right. When they came here to do the recount, Mia and all of them were viewing the different parts of the hinterland. So till Mia could get how many hectares of land, bring sheep and so. And this cannot allow this to happen. If you come in, you want to visit, say here. We got 10 days in the country, 5 days to visit, 5 days for work. But you can't come and say you're coming to work. And then eventually, when the installed regime realizes a thing, they lure you away to visit places, and the mission that you come, you cannot do it. Now, many persons, myself, and you met a team of us, and it had other people who went to Buxton on Saturday afternoon to think. Well, I was annoyed in a way, but it ended up good because I was given a little recreation from my hard schedule of work. So I was vexing away, but to say, Randy, your old nerves want relaxing. And when I got to the selling, partly to the selling, I met someone who tried to gain my friendship, but see the young boy, and I want nobody to say, I'm a Kruger or cradle snatching. So I didn't accept the friend. And the boy saw me and he called me off. Nigel Price, big up to you. He told me he lives abroad in England and he follows me. So going to the fact finding and not meeting with the people, I was still able to apologize to somebody who I did not allow talk. On Friday, Kadaki, the line cut off, either babbling, and I didn't know I was being disconnected. So that to be the internet. I didn't hang up on the call. And I'm still waiting to hear about my cousin's death being mentioned in the news. I tried getting on to Travis, but he said call him and he didn't return the call. He said message him. So that is it. And I hope other things we can get through. And the thing with Brian Max, whatever he is saying, it don't bear anything with me, because when you see a wrong is being done, you talk about the wrong as it is in progress. You don't wait till the wrong finish and all kind of thing. And when you get a piece of the action, you start to bombast the people. Had Brian Max been given what he really wanted, a piece or a rib, he would not have been all against the installed regime. Because remember, these were people who were guardians of democracy. They were there out there licking down that Granger must leave, the caretaker government must leave. Well, the caretaker government is out. Lastly, another allegation I heard, I don't know if it is true, it's alleged that the Barlet is trying to say the person who gave away the place is you, Desmond Hart, President Hart. And I hope that the opposition could find some way to have Barra Jagdio bring his proof and give it out to the world. Like how we have the proof of him saying that Venezuela got the whole top of day country, because Venezuela is like a fan in the Atlantic Ocean, must still be given our river. When Venezuela could make a man-made river, like our riches is making a man-made island. Bye-bye.
Thank you for your call. It's now 2 minutes past the 9 o'clock hour. And that was my final call. I'll now go to a few voice notes and we'll move from there.
Good morning to that people, good morning viewers. Concerning the fact-finding persons who visited them. Now, if I was there, the fact-finding persons, when they came in, they went to and welcomed by the mayor and the regional chairman. After that, they come in the building and of themselves and sit down. They make the presentation, the fact-finding people introduce themselves and everything, as per now. Then the regional chairman make his presentation, and that is his opinion. And yeah, shucks. The mayor, sorry. The mayor make his presentation also. And the people start asking a little question. And they was answering back. To the people questions, but they was asking just to verify certain facts. The people asking me to get evidence, people say yes, and so forth. No. The time what was allotted was 1 hour. They said they completed the whole thing in an hour. But they couldn't finish complete within a whole hour. So when the floor opened to the people, and the chairman at the time said 1 minute. before you start asking for extension of time, they start rowing. These people are councillors who was there. These councillors for Region 10 start rowing and disrupt, and it's the PPP councillors, along with some other PPP supporters who was in there. They're rowing over a minute. Then who wait and somehow, well, Madam Chair, 1 minute cannot work. We would like an extension of time to make my presentation or what. They start rolling disrupt. When the thing do get for cool long a little bit, one of the PPP member get the mic and he talk for more than 3 minutes. More than a minute what was being allowed. So they start trying to attack the chair, the mayor and the chairman based on what they have said. And that is what brings about the problem, because the problem come about is that the PPP councillors, right, start attacking, they start rolling going on, and they didn't mean for done. The people quiet down a little bit. The lady somehow, well, y'all can get extension of time, some more time to speak. And they just keep going on. So they come in purposely to break up the meeting and telling us it was ridiculous, shaming disgrace on the PPP behalf, because if the president of the country said that, oh, we want not to do fast finding people, why is it that they run there? They go there just to, I thought they go in there to make a presentation. Then the other woman, one of the councillors, she's a councillor, so come on and sharing the brochure them and showing the people what they have done in the clipping. And if we're talking about discrimination, she go to all the PPP members them and give them the brochure. Two other person was sitting. She did not go to them. She turned back and go to the rest of PPP councillors and share. So she claimed that the people left the brochure on the table. She shouldn't talk about it, because she discriminated since she started sharing the thing and choosing people to get just a little brochure to see what's going on, you know, what development the right inside the pamphlet and so forth. So no, she shouldn't talk. So that is how the whole thing get messed up. They feel offended because the chairman said 1 minute, which I mean all of us know 1 minute is very short, but if they start to speak, I know they will end up in more than 5 minutes. Some of the people will get more than 5 minutes. So when they're talking that the thing was one-sided and biased, it's they cast it upon themselves that it's one-sided and biased. And in terms of security, they don't really have no security there really. One inspector come and just had to go away. I don't know for what reason, but he had to go away. And that was it. That no proper security. At one stage, the deputy mayor got crash in between one of the PPP supporters until he back off, carried them in the people's face. So you can imagine who really went on. Right? But it's a shame and disgrace before know that the town clerk, when I take over the meeting, he appeared like a bully. And he was a past councillor. He used to cry out for the same thing what he has expressed and do of his own self. So you could imagine. I really surprised and they step on television, bubbling about all the time, talking up in England. If you hear some the lights will come up and go up on the TV and say, let the American embassy investigate them people. They should be investigated. I'm telling you this, anyhow, but I can't continue more long because
and the people got to get a chance. Thank you. God bless you, and God bless everyone. Have a safe and productive day.
Thank you, caller. It is now 9 minutes past the matching hour. You're tuned to the Guyanese Morning Time. I am your host, Kidaki Amsterdam.
Are you planning your next visit to Orange, Guyana, South America? Well, let's accommodate you at Varon's Cheerful Country Manor. With free secured on-premises parking, our beautiful vacation air-conditioned home offers 3 beds, 2 bathrooms, a spacious kitchen, and all modern amenities. Located at Tushen, on the eastern bank of the mighty Essequibo and the western coast of Demerara, Varon's Cheerful Country Manor is just a stone throw from the ocean. Make that reservation now on Airbnb and VRBO. For contact, call us on 516-770-3053 or 592-685-3521. Make Varon's Cheerful Country Manor your home away from home.
Hey oldies lovers, friends of the coalition invite you to a night of golden oldies. Come out and let's get down to the popular sounds of Singaman One Man Band.
Why are you still playing that? Voice note.
Good morning, Kadaki. Now listen, man. I know Guyanese, especially Guyanese black men, become fools. Look, you get the guy, Sean Hines. That's his name, yes. Who took money from the PPP in Jagdio's time to kill so much black people. And y'all get him walking around the place. Hines killed a lot of people and he walking free around the place. And other black people that kill black sisters and brothers for the PPP. And they're walking free around the place. You understand? So I cannot understand. You understand? There are a lot of waste men in Guyana. They can go and give their life, put their life down and do something. It's better to die for something than live for nothing. You understand? Go down Georgetown, America Street, right? You see a lot of waste man there, man. Yeah? Why can't they put their life down and do something for their grandchildren and their children? Come on, man. Too stupid. Guy need to become a real house slave, man. The world is talking bad about you. Bye.
Thank you for that contribution. It's now 12 minutes past the 9 o'clock hour. Listen out for the menu. We are going to be doing our Creole Fridays this week. We have had 2 missing weekends, so we're going to return to doing our Creole Friday from this week. So listen out to the menu. And also stay tuned because Club Twilight and Lou's Kitchen will actually be bringing you food all week long, sooner rather than later. So listen out. Thank you for tuning in. And somebody sent me a piece here coming from the Mighty Rebel. Is it? Oh yes, a piece coming from the Mighty Rebel. I think his daughter said she found it in the archives. Listen out.
They causing confusion. Is them kind of people don't got this whole world uncomfortable. I can remember some years ago they had a dispute about cocoa. But now it's a different thing. My taste of Guyana is still the same. Guyana don't need to pray, no ties with any foreign country. They want to push their hands in the eye. Man, they're boasting about ammunition, but Guyanese got knowledge and wisdom. They got their mind on gold, diamond, and the hydrogen completion. But I suggest that the government discuss better things in Parliament. Guyana don't need to pray, no ties with the foreign country. because it's more than we moving on. The NTV position, but we ain't giving anyone not a piece of the precious land. No way we ain't giving none, not a piece of the precious land. No way, no way. Understand, they mustn't covet from their fellow man. Thousands of miles they have in production, still they claim 56,000. Born and asking for peace, you know, but camping playing everywhere. True consciousness, they claim we saw it. What the hell ever happened when we started oil? Tired of me to break, no rise in the country. You need to maintain the status as Guyanese. Because it's more than we moving on. The NTV position, but we ain't giving anyone not a piece of the precious land. No way we ain't giving none, not a piece of the precious land. No way, no way. Guyanese living without this. Man, we walking towards production. Now they planning to cut us down. We don't care about the stupid rumors and paper is always ours. Venezuela should be ashamed and humiliated with the economic claim. Tired of me to break, no ties in the name of the country. We need to maintain the status as Guyanese. Because it's more than we moving on. The NTV position, but we ain't giving anyone not a piece of the precious land. No way we ain't giving none, not a piece of the precious land. No way we ain't giving none, not a piece of the precious land. No way.
And that's a wrap. Have a good day. Talk to you tomorrow on another program of Guyanese Morning Time. Do join Dr. Hines tonight for another program of politics.